John Parker was born in Claremont, Minnesota. His love of the outdoors would later lead him to an extensive career as a conservation officer. After high school, he went on to attend Rochester Junior College and joined the Army Air Corps in 1943. He received his commission as an officer in 1944. After flight training and earning his wings, he trained in the P-47 Thunderbolt and was deployed to Italy, where he flew 61 combat missions as a member of the 350th Fighter Group. His follow-on orders sent him to the Aleutian Islands to fly the P-38 Lightning. During his time in the military, he earned the Air Medal with 2 oak leaf clusters, along with several other awards and battle stars. Following the war, Parker transitioned out of the military and joined the Minnesota Department of Conservation, where he became one of the first 4 pilots to be designated as a flying game warden. In 1948, he began his flight duties and was eventually assigned to the War Road area, where he spent his entire 34-year career. He flew numerous missions tracing the elk range in northern Minnesota. He found a way to herd the animals from the air, thus restricting the range of the elk and their habit of destroying farm crops. His next project was to track timber wolves. In the 1950s, wolves were considered destructive to livestock. From the air, it was possible to track collared wolves to learn their habits and ranges of individual packs. Parker would also spend hours in the air tracking ducks, cranes, moose, and other species. Challenging weather and low-level flying were common hazards throughout his career. Parker has also taken part in countless searches for lost hunters and fishermen. On several occasions, he was needed to search for drowning or crash victims. He was cited by several organizations for his willingness and determination to find those missing persons using his flying abilities. He also tracked weather balloons through their radio beacons, finding their landing locations so that ground personnel could retrieve them for the valuable data they provided. He retired from the DNR in 1982. Parker contributed to his community, serving as War Road's Director of Youth Hockey for 20 years. Parker served on the War Road Airport Commission, helping the community's grass strip become a regional airport. He belonged to the local Lions Club, the American Legion, and was a church trustee and school board member.
Accepting on behalf of John is Jeff Parker.
First, congratulations to the other inductees and their families. It's indeed a great honor for our family. My father loved horses, strong, independent, free. He rode horses until he left the farm. He had another kind of horse for the next 40 years. It was an airplane. It was a natural extension of his personality, independent, free, and self-sufficient. Dad wasn't a loner, but he wasn't one to follow the crowd either. The airplane personified his character. In it, he was at home in his element, answerable only to himself, depending only on himself, and the horses he flew. Dad was, to a fault, not a glory hound. He didn't look for publicity. He felt comfortable just knowing he had done something good. There were many stories left untold, many daily selfless acts of heroism and sacrifice. I've forgotten many, but I remember the phone calls to the house at all hours of the night, midnight, snowstorms, capsized boats, drowning victims, lost hunters, calls for help from someone injured across the lake, a sick person needing a flight to a hospital. There were many calls that he answered with uncommon commitment. My mother was often a part of this, driving out to the unlit airstrip at night and putting the car lights on the field so he could land. The state troopers would call the patrol office in Thief River Falls, and then they would make a phone call to Mom, and sometimes she'd take us with her. One day I ran into Dad at a local coffee shop. He'd been in Arrowhead country where there was a large forest fire. Dynamite was used for backfires, and there were water bombers to lead in. He said he had lived on the edge a bit more than he should have. said he was delivering a large load of dynamite in the 185 and didn't know if it would fly or not. So he got the speed up and he lifted one wing and that was okay. He lifted the other wing and figured it would fly. So off he went. He was dedicated to the mission at hand. Self-concerned he was not. He flew a couple of P-47s, Honey Bun 1 and Honey Bun 2, named for guess who. He was a farm boy. He didn't have to answer the call to arms. He flunked the flag physical twice. The third time he passed it. After the war in Europe, he flew P-38s in Alaska until VJ Day. We don't know why, but he didn't name those. Maybe he didn't think he needed luck anymore. He did name 5 out of the 6 DNR planes. One of them he didn't like, so he didn't name it. A proud man, sure. Uncommonly strong with reflexes like lightning. Very self-confident. He didn't suffer fools with any remorse whatsoever. We'd asked him about the war, but he wouldn't discuss it. One day after I had pestered him more, he answered, "Killing is nothing I took pride in, and I don't want to talk about it." Later in life, Mom said he would go into the bathroom when she could hear him sobbing. He kept those memories to himself. Committed, yes, to a fault. He said he'd do it, he'd do it. Simple code. Weather, sickness, personal desires, no matter, he did whatever it was he was supposed to do. Fair? Yes. He was a game warden pilot. I asked him about local poachers who may have needed the food for their families. His answer was simple. I know who the people are who need the food. Some years back, I played around the golf with one of his World War II squadron mates. He said, John was new to the outfit, and I wanted to see what he could do. I took him out as my wingman, and we flew over the rocky countryside of Italy. I was doing maneuvers I'd never done before and scared myself. John radios me and says, "Hell, Dick, you're half crazy." Dick said, but what was crazier, I looked up my canopy and there he was on my wing. I realize there are many aviators and aviation officials who have gone above and beyond in their careers. We know there is no successful halfway pilot. You need to be committed to excellence and trust the habit patterns you develop. And you must respect the environment you work in. As we all know, aviation is not a pastime for fools. Growing up, Dad put that same commitment towards the Golden Gloves program he and the local sheriff started. Though he was gone often, he put in over 20 years as the commissioner of World Youth Hockey, setting up the schedules, making the teams, handling parents. We never had a family vacation. Around 1960, my sister Pam had to have a very revolutionary heart surgery to repair holes in her heart. It was experimental and insurance did not pay it. To help pay for it, for many years Dad would use all his vacation time to aerial spray. Our family is of course proud of our father and of our mother. We are grateful for this honor. Thanks to the Minnesota Aviation Hall of Fame. Special thank you to DNR biologist and pilot Bill Berg, who nominated Dad. To Noel Allard and Tom Foster helped me navigate this process. And a special thank you to Captain Chris Lofstone, Chief DNR pilot, and to the other DNR pilots who were in Dad's corner in this endeavor. Thanks to my sister for her efforts in setting up the storyboards and displays up in the other room, and to my little brother, the memories and anecdotes he contributed. And thank you for your support of the Minnesota Aviation Hall of Fame.